What makes you understand a narcissist much more is that they are empty. They are empty shells. And they will play something in front of you like an actor, as if they are full of life and seen the world. Mine was 6 years on a cruise ship, and had nothing to talk about over those years on the ship. No romance that he had, or a favorite destination. With me, he went to a lot of countries, and we never sat down at family events or friends events and talked about where we were. And this emptiness that they feel, which I never thought existed, because if you don't feel your own soul in your own heart, the only thing you can do is feel empty. And that is what they do in that moment. They feel totally empty for themselves. And I could see it sometimes when he sat down and was suddenly back in thinking mood about something that was, something to plan. So he hated boredom, or he hated just being still. He didn't like that notion of the day, if everything got quiet, also between friends, and we all just got quiet, and then there was suddenly nothing to talk about anymore. And then you could really see in his face that, oops, he switched to plan Q, to make his life more fun. So he is really not, or narcissists are, the thing is, we give them the stage. We give them the stage to be the people they are. And the total polarity to narcissism is being quiet. Like, there's always a polarity in life. And why that functions for a while, that we stay in these relationships. I stayed for 4 years. And as I told you, the encounters I have had were from the beginning very, very suspicious, very, just telling. Even the first evening was telling. He didn't even tell me his real name. He told me another name, and I was like, whoa, that's a German name. That's not even a name from your country. And he just gave himself a name because he didn't liked his name. And I mean, that should have been the moment you give the hand and you just leave the room. And one excitement after the other, where you just think, can't he just be in a normal day? He even told me that everything for him is boring. So the emptiness they feel is totally reckless for themselves. Like, I could see it in his reckless driving. There was just a driving motion that I was just the just co-seated. And when I arrived at airports, or when I was somewhere, I was like, as if I had a whole work day behind me, because I couldn't believe certain situations. And they say if they drive reckless, they live reckless. Like, how I drive is also how I live. I mean, sometimes I drive fast, but not reckless. And the emptiness, sometimes you will feel that. But the thing is, you're giving them the stage. I gave him the stage to feel this emptiness, and to be this grandiose actor in the whole game. I mean, it took me 4 years to even understand the whole play. Now I would be just laughing watching that scene, and going back to our apartment where everything took place, and I would watch that again. I think everyone who goes back to a narcissist will just eventually, if you grasp it, you will just laugh, because you're just there as they always say, primary source. So they know, aha, with her I am together, so that the whole world around them, the status quo, knows, I have a girlfriend, she's blonde, I'm with her, and so no one can think I'm a bit awkward. He even said that once, maybe even twice. But this actor, you will leave the more you see behind the curtains, the more you see reckless talking. It's not just driving. First it was driving, then it was talking, then it was manners, then it was just, you feel ashamed for them at airports and with other people. It just feels like, this is not the person I want to be with, the partner. And they will try to put this emptiness, to not feel that there's nothing inside. It's just a game. It's just a game they are playing. So if you feel awkward in your relationship, it doesn't have to be narcissism, but if you're watching a video about narcissism, I can tell you already have probably 5 from 9 points of what narcissistic behavior means, which blew my mind. The day he said he's superior to everyone else, that was the day I started looking up YouTube channels, and I thought, what is superior? What is if someone says they are superior? And I don't know how, because I never thought about narcissism. I never knew about the word. I never thought it would have something to do with me. But my mum was already, and my dad was also already a narcissist. So everyone around me up until now, when I've broken off, everyone was a narcissist, even colleagues. So you are surrounded by them. They are everywhere. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a colleague. It can be your parent who showed you that emptiness, which I also felt with them. They were empty if they weren't in adventure and doing events and building up companies and doing this and doing that. It was like if you saw them on a random day, they were just like, oof, this is like boring. Which I don't have. I'm excited about little nooks of life, little things like water, stupidly, but water and food, and I can be so excited about things. So what your role in this whole thing is that you're trying to fill up this emptiness. I could feel it in him. So I was trying to please with cooking, with dressing, with just being happy with his plans and just going along, and it got always more extreme. Like first we went on one holiday, then he had two times holiday, and then it went to an extreme of I think 10 times holiday in 1 year, where I left, where there was no communication. Like this emptiness, they think when they put up their own plan, they are the master of that plan. They don't ask you for for recognition they do, but they don't ask you for your opinion about it. They just put up a plan in their head, and then it has to be executed. It's like on the one hand they plan, they are so controversial, and if they have an instinct that suddenly says something, then they do that. Like there is like a behind plan, but there is also like just looking up the instincts of whatever has to be done. And sometimes they just see something and it has to be also done very quickly, which wasn't planned, and which we had a really grand agreement on it that we don't do this, and he just did it. It was just amazing. And if you want to know what a narcissist is, and you're still like, is my partner a narcissist? Just say no to things. I started saying no to holidays, I started saying no to things, and the respect in itself just stops. And we are used to it. Normally we already had a narcissistic parent, and we're already used to this emptiness and this not being respected by someone, so we just go along. I just dabbed along, like as if this was my life, because I made myself a commitment that we will make this work. And the red flags are very, very early, and it's not healable. Narcissism is not healable. So we can try to fill up that hole in that person. They will tell you that their glass is overflowing. They have energy. If you would see him right now, how do you say in English, goes through the steps of his day to be the best employee of the month every single month. You will think, wow, he has perfect energy, he is perfectly charismatic. If you have been blown away by someone at the beginning, like really blown away, like over the top, where you thought, this is just too much, you've been with a narcissist, or are still with a narcissist. They have a tendency to always try to charismatically blow someone away, like to impress. And before you even think about them, like even in their job situation, before I even come in and I know who he is and what I want from that person, he will already try to blow me away. And I don't know if it's the same with you, but with me it was like, I didn't choose him, he hunted me down. And then suddenly it was like one word and one sentence and one date and one surprise, and everything just came together. But it wasn't as if, you see someone and there's a little touch here and a little kiss there. I think, he even said to me at the beginning, I'm coming now over to kiss you. Like there was no sweetness in it, like coming over and like, it just randomly comes at one date. Or he said to me, I'm coming now over to kiss you. I was very, very early in the relationship. So he hunted me down. He wanted to be with me. He will never know why a narcissist wants that. I think they just watch your traits. That he always said, I'm an angel to be with. So they watch your traits of your life and how you are, and also how stupid you are to set up boundaries that won't hurt him for a while. Like normally those boundaries that I would give everyone else, like that's not right and that's not right, you don't do with a narcissist. So he has all the play and all the stage that he needs. And I play a role in that whole thing too. But what happens when you heal from a narcissist, if you heal in the right way, not just like I'm going into the next relationship but I'm really healing, is that you can close a gap of not setting boundaries with anyone and loving yourself like I have never experienced. So I'm always happy that he came along. I'm never regretful. He also showed me how to have fun in life, to, even if it was a bit superficial from his side, but to just take it on. I didn't have that before. I was more introverted. So he did show me new sights on myself. And now traveling anywhere, like I just came from Marrakesh, just stayed there for a month, and the experiences I had, and me being a woman just opened up in a way that I've never experienced. And the way I can now move through life, I don't have this empty shell around me anymore that I have to supervise and be with, and supervise in a way of you were always concentrated of what that empty shell is doing. Like I couldn't go into the airport and think, wow, I'm going now to there and there and to the Maldives, and I couldn't breathe. If you can't breathe with your relationship, there is really something wrong. And it took me much too long. Much too long. So the emptiness of that partner will also go onto you. I felt for quite a while very empty, until I recognized that I'm responsible for my day. I am responsible of what I eat, how I think, with whom I correspond, what I want from life. And even if it's frightening, I always take from Kyle C's the tip and advice to always say, okay, I'm maybe afraid of becoming a painter, and I'm maybe afraid of being a writer, but I love it. And suddenly my world opened up, like, I love my life. I really love it. And if a narcissist decides to enter this life and just try to ruin it, try to ruin your self-value and your self-validation, then it's his business, not my business. Katie Byron showed me that one. That's none of my business. I was there with all my heart and overflowing, and from morning till evening, really in it, and nothing happened. There was nothing happened. It was like from beginning of the relationship till the end on the same level. Even worse. It's not even on the same level. It felt even worse. It felt even like, as I said, the love bombing in the beginning was so extreme that, going was, from the energy level we gave each other, something I have never experienced. And that can ruin people. That's why I'm doing these videos. That can really ruin a person. This fake energy that they have all day, They are totally empty, but they act like actors in Hollywood, as if life just gave them an Oscar. That's how it always was. There was nothing normal. Not even sitting outside when I cooked on the balcony or terrace to eat something, that there was this moment of, whew, sugar. Never happened. They will always lure you into some kind of, can be a drama, it can be something that happens in the future, it can be something that happens with the family, maybe in August, we talk about it in June. There's always something going on. It has never ever anything to do with the right now. And that is what is distracting you. That is what is distracting you to never really sit down and consider how your life should go on. I left also because I thought, wow, if this guy now gives me, wants to engage out of instinct, he's maybe saw a YouTube video, or he loved to sit at YouTube videos and see marriage compilations that went wrong. Like he saw engagement things running between man and woman that were on video. And he loved to see that went wrong. It was also very awkward. So if you don't want to be the carrier of an empty shell, just drop it. Just drop it, and you will see you're the only one who's hurt. You're the only one who will be hurt out of this whole thing. They don't mind. Mine is still working where he has to work. He's going on Bryan Adams concerts. He doesn't care. And you shouldn't either. You should just care about yourself, even if it hurts at the beginning, like someone cut you open with a knife. It won't be the nicest thing, but after a while it will turn into something, because one day, and that day will be just happiness for yourself. Will be that you take over responsibility of how life should be. It shouldn't be so draining. It shouldn't be so unhappy, empty, stressful. You're always in a loop with them. You're like a rat running in a wheel, and so exhausted, and you don't know why you are so exhausted. And take your time to get away from them, and be aware of the big signs that they have. Every one of them. They play the same game. We don't know if they all went to the same school, but they play the same game. Otherwise, this whole community in the internet wouldn't be so telling. They all have the same signs. They all say the same things. They all say what you want to hear at the beginning, which no one does at the beginning. Everyone has a bit of an edge. The older you get, also you date someone, and there is a bit of an edge. There's a bit of a problem at the beginning, so you try to work things through. But with a narcissist, you will either be always on high top of every date, and then you will just look at them like, is this normal behavior? And just once you have this behavior, I now know how to switch that very quickly. And I know how to go away from things very, very quickly. But you have to go through a healing process. And tell yourself it won't be easy, but I love it.